Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me here. We have a very quick session to help out and talk about open source packages and finding the right open source package for your project. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm Brian Clark. I'm a developer advocate at Sneak, and I have no slides. I got no sales objective here. I'm just a developer that has found something to be super useful that I want to share with you all, developer to developer. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about what's a typical scenario when you're working on a project, right? You want to find some open source packages that solve a problem for you that you know is probably already solved, right? It fulfills a gap in your app or your project that you don't want to have to handwrite yourself. Maybe you do in some cases, but in a lot of cases, you just want to focus on your business logic for your end users, for your clients, for your business. And you don't want to have to rewrite the wheel, right? The common term that gets often shared in the industry. You don't wanna have to rewrite the wheel or, rebuild the wheel and keep recreating the same things over and over again. We wanna, you know, stand on the shoulders of giants, if you will, of the fine folks in the open source community that have built these things for fun and, or maybe they're getting paid to do it. Whatever the situation is, you wanna find something that is gonna help you out, that's already been done, tried and true and tested, and you're looking to get started with that, right? And so the first thing you might do is you might go and search for what you're looking for. So in this case, let's say I have a project that I'm working on right now, and it requires that I need to be able to do, like, a lot of date time math. I need to do the old issue in programming is dealing with time zones, right? Well, let's try and leverage a library, a package that can help us handle that so that we don't have to manually handwrite everything around dealing with different time zones and trying to present data, date time information for various time zones for us, right? So let's see what's available to us. Maybe you go to Google and you search for, like, I'm a Node.js developer, so I'm going to search for Node.js date time library, right? And you can see some of the results that are going on here. There's lots of these are blog posts, but typically what would happen for me is I'd go to my package management website. So for Node.js, that'd be npm. Maybe you're a .NET developer, NuGet, you're a Java developer, Maven, whatever programming language and ecosystem you're working within. You typically kind of go to that registry, the package management system, whether they have a website or a way of browsing the different libraries that are available there. But again, you start off with searching on Google, Bing, whatever you may use, and try to find something that way, right? And that's fine. That's how I've done it in the past as well. Like, that's typically how I would go about doing things. But it becomes very cumbersome and overwhelming, right? Which of these results should I go with? I'm gonna start spending time on that. Maybe I see this one, Date FNS, which is a package that I'm familiar with. Maybe you are as well. And it has the capabilities of doing what I want it to do. It's a date utility library. It has its own website too. So I can go in, read up about that, and see if it fulfills that need. But that's just scratching the surface of what I need to do when I'm evaluating libraries, especially if I'm working on a team, I'm working at a company. We need more than just the package fulfilling the specific programming need. It also needs to have some other criteria to take into consideration when it comes to evaluating libraries. We need to know that it is widely supported, that it's actively maintained. We need to know whether or not there's a community around it that have lots of questions and maybe answers that have gone with those questions to help when you run into issues with using this library, right? What else? You need to know if the licensing fits your needs. You need to know if there are any security issues that have been disclosed about that package because you don't want to introduce any vulnerabilities into your application or project through open source, which is a common thing that happens. So, yeah, this is good going about this, but then you have to do for all those other areas that criteria you're going to be using to evaluate these packages, you you're gonna have to do that manually, right? Like, and I'm telling you from experience that I have done that in the past in a past role that I've had, where we went and we were on a team and we were trying to, uh, kinda sign off on here's the packages that we as a development team are okay with and kind of, given the green light to go with this package because it met our criteria. It hit the bar of what our expectations were for a package because we didn't wanna introduce even if it fulfilled our needs, we didn't want to introduce something that was just going to, like, phase out over time, like if it's no longer being maintained, there's not maybe there's a single maintainer behind it or author behind that package, and they're doing it on the side, and they're not getting paid to do that, maintain that package and work on it, right? Which is a whole nother issue in itself, but it's something to be cognizant of when evaluating libraries too. So having all that in mind, that's cumbersome. That's overwhelming. There's a lot of complex things that you gotta navigate through to help you make that decision and figure out what's the right package for you. But fortunately, there's something that helps kinda speed that up and accelerate it, and that is this. I'm telling you, like, I'm so excited when I learned of this, not just because I work here, but because of, like, this past experience that I had that I wish I had it sooner, and that is Sneak Advisor. Sneak Advisor is a free tool. You go to sneak.io/advisor, and it allows you to, for specific, it's in beta still right now. So it's slowly adding more ecosystems and programming languages and ecosystems on there, but it allows you to search various programming language ecosystems and package management tools, or registries, rather. That's the word I was looking for, to find what you need. And here's the thing that's interesting about it. So let's say we saw date FNS for this example, right? So let's go and search for that here, date FNS, which is short for date functions. It shows you the results of everything that comes up that are packages up on npm for this particular search query. But here's the one that we want, right? And now what's nice about this, at the top right hand corner, I want to draw your attention there. It gives you this overall package health score. So right off the bat, at a quick glance, you can see how healthy a package is. And it tells you how it kind of grades that and provides that score based on the security of it, the popularity of it, the maintenance of it, and whether there's an active community behind it. And so 90 out of 100 is pretty good, but there's some that are like below that, and you might want to reconsider potentially using those libraries or packages, or maybe you want to start contributing to them to make them a little bit healthier yourself. That's another way you can go about it. So it goes down, you can scroll down and see if there's any security related vulnerabilities that were reported or licenses issues that are going on with it that may have changed over time. So far, this one shows that more of the recent versions that are out there that are popular, especially 2.28 here, has no known security vulnerabilities that have been reported on that. You can see how popular it is based on weekly downloads, the maintenance of it, how often they're committing to it, whether there's open issues, open PRs, when the last release was. See, this type of stuff is key indicators to you as a developer looking for these packages, whether or not it's a something that's gonna be sustainable and worthwhile to pull into your project, let alone just for fulfilling the needs of that gap that you have. It tells you a little bit more about the package, how long it's been around, the community, whether there's a README, a code of conduct, and so forth, and even some code examples. And you can read the README directly here without having to necessarily go to the GitHub repo for it. So that's a quick rundown of like what I wanted to share with you all because I feel like it's super helpful. I personally find it super helpful, and it has been my go-to tool nowadays to help me evaluate packages that I might be potentially introducing into my projects before even actually trying it out. In addition to that, so maybe you get into a situation where you're like, all right, I found something that was I thought fulfilled my needs, but it had a low health score. What's nice is it gives you this explore similar packages right in this top portion here, so I can check out some of the other ones, like Moment is another one that I'm familiar with in this ecosystem that does a lot of date time utility type tool that provides to me. Luxon is a fairly new one that I'm getting acquainted with, but I can click on that and then I can start checking this one out. So it's slightly better score, 94 out of 100 instead of 90 out of 100. So maybe this is one that I would consider going with because of that, right? And I can go and try it out, test it out, see how it works, if it fits well within my project, and it allows me to, really feel confident in my decision. And the team can more easily, through the single pane view, get all the information that you normally would manually gather. And I'm again telling you from experience that I've done this before. It was not fun to do this for like dozens of libraries. Uh, you get it all in one single point of view here that lets you make that decision and not have to spend a ton of time finding and evaluating the various packages that are there for your ecosystem. Really quick to drive home that it's more than just npm too. You can check out it if you're a Python developer. There's PyPI. If you're a Go developer, there's Go. And if you're using containers and you want to evaluate some of the Docker images that are out there, you can search for those as well to see how well they stack up for their health score. So that's it for me. I'm going to end a little bit earlier so that the folks at the conference can catch up on some things and we don't run over. But thank you all so much for having me. I appreciate being able to pop into this time slot and share this really, I think, helpful little bit of information. And I hope it helped you all out in the community there. And enjoy the rest of DevSecCon. Maybe I'll see you around too. Adios. See ya. Bye.